Welcome to Make Your Big Impact. I am your host, Angel Tuccy. I'm also known as the Book Angel, and this is the show for authors, speakers, and thought leaders who know their story isn't just meaningful, but it's meant to move people, to create influence, and drive real results. And today's episode is one of my favorite formats because we're hosting a roundtable conversation with powerful voices who have each taken their message and turned it into impact in their own unique way. And they're going to share with you what's actually working, the trials and tribulations that have helped them to step into visibility, authority, and leadership. So let me introduce today's panel to you. First, we have Amy Gorin, founder and CEO of Master the Media. She helps other healthcare professionals change their lives with paid brand partnerships. But to do that, Amy decided to scale back on her paid spokesperson work as a media dietitian. She is one of the most quoted media dietitians in America with a media reach of over 3 billion people. Amy, I'm so excited to have you. How are you doing today?
So excited to be here. Thank you.
This is good stuff. And, you know, when each of these panelists booked their spot, like I didn't hand cherry pick them to be together. I just let the universe do what God's going to do and brought them together. And I think you guys are going to already find, just when I was reading through your bios, some really cool kinship here in the room. But next we have Conni Ponturo. And in her bio, this is how she said she wanted me to introduce her: a kick-ass teacher of movement. She has over 1,000 online videos. She is a leading authority in the field of pain-free living, which includes the power of creating a harmonious connection of mindset, emotions, and body. She's respected for her unique approach to transformational movement that merges Pilates, meditation, and mindset. She teaches her clients how to flourish at every age and every stage of their life. In her best-selling book, Listen, Watch What You Say, Your Body is Listening, helps you create techniques that allow you to connect with your body in a deep and lasting way. She is one of my dearest friends on the planet. We haven't seen each other in ages. Super excited to have you on the stage with us, Conni. Hi.
Oh, thank you. So great to see you. So great to see you.
And you're looking fabulous. You're just looking fabulous. And we won't ask you to tell your age, but you guys will never believe it. It's unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. Joining us as well is a dear friend, Dr. J Ramsay, a media strategist, educator, and founder of the 5-time award-winning CTR Media Network, built on 2 core pillars: helping podcasters and creators grow authority through interviews, podcasts, TV appearances, magazines, features, blogs, and multi-platform media coverage. She helps podcasters transform existing content into professionally produced and distributed television shows across connected TV and streaming platforms. Tina, it is so good to see you today.
Thank you. I'm excited about being here on the panel.
I know, right? We are like
great people.
Good people. These are good people. These are really good people. Coming to us from Winnipeg, Canada, Steve Setka. He hosts the Freight, Faith, and Fatherhood show. His company, In Express, leverages global shipping partnerships to streamline domestic and international freight management. But he has an incredible opportunity to share his story about freight, faith, and fatherhood here with us today. And this is my first time meeting Steve, so I'm super excited to have you on the stage with us, Steve.
Very excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
You bet. And rounding out today's panel is Dr. Kevin Mays, executive coach, psychologist, leadership consultant, author, and keynote speaker who helps high-performing leaders overcome self-doubt, master presence, and lead with clarity and confidence. He is the new author of a brand new book that apparently he hasn't even seen yet, but I have the freshest copy on the planet. It's called Lead Yourself First, the High Achiever's Guide to Upgrade Your Leadership. Kevin, how are you doing today?
I am outstanding. I'm just so excited to be here and meet everybody. So thank you.
Thank you. This is going to be a fun show. And I am your host, Angel Tuccy, author of Authorlicity, where I show authors how to become the obvious choice in your industry, create ongoing publicity, new revenue streams with a book in one hand and a guest microphone in the other. And today we're going to hear lots of different perspectives, but with one shared mission: making a bigger impact with the message they were each called to share. So before we dive in, I'm going to ask you each just to share what it is that you do and the one thing that you're most excited about working on right now. And Miss Connie, you're up on my screen first. So let's start with you. Tell our audience what you do
I
and what you're most passionate about doing right now.
I work with usually mostly women over 50 in chronic pain, getting them to change their story about why they're in chronic pain and have them use new words. And what I'm most excited about is keeping people moving. I've really upped my videos that I do every day, my YouTube station, trying to get lots of subscribers and just get people moving their bodies.
How many videos do you have uploaded there, Connie?
700 and something. We took my app and we just started to throw everything onto my YouTube station. So I need subscribers and I need people to see how easy it is to get people moving.
Well, I just did a guess because I remember when you started it and I was like, she's got to have over 1,000 videos now, but you are getting close. How do people subscribe?
Absolutely grounded.
Absolutely grounded. Look at that. Absolutely grounded. Become a subscriber right now. You know somebody who sits all day in their chair and sits on the way to work, on the way home from work, and all day at work. Like sitting is the new, they say is the smoking, right? It's bad. It's so bad for your health. So absolutelygrounded.com.
At YouTube, on YouTube.
Oh, at YouTube. Sorry. At Absolutely Grounded. Or YouTube channel is Absolutely Grounded. Gotcha. All right, Amy, how about you? Tell us what you're doing and the project you're most passionate about right now.
Yeah, so I am a registered dietitian. It's my second career. I actually used to be a magazine editor. And so now I teach people, mostly healthcare professionals, but really anyone with an expertise, how to leverage your being featured in the media to land paid brand partnerships. And so the really cool thing is anyone who has expertise, you can kind of bypass all of the influencer roles. You don't have to worry about having a social media account with a big following. You can earn really nice income, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars by working with brands. And I'd say what I'm most excited to share is we just updated our brand partnership pricing guide so you can get a glimpse of what brand partnerships pay and what we're even talking about when we say brand partnerships. And you can grab that at masterthemedia.co/pricing-guide.
Okay, hold on. Okay, I'm going to write this down. masterthemedia.co/pricing-guide. Pricing-guide. Oh, this is valuable because we always want to know like how much is it? Like when does that even start to fit in my budget? And so this is an awesome resource. Amy, we're glad you're here. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
All right, Tina, also another media maven in the space. Tell us what you're up to and the project you're most excited about right now.
Well, basically, I'm just happy to be here. And I absolutely love media because I learned early on in my career coming from academia, transitioning over to media, that it doesn't matter how great your products and services are if no one knows that you exist. So that's why I started doing media. And then people start saying, hey, you're good at this. I'm like, really? And then I started taking some classes and the rest is history. So what I love doing is helping everyday people doing extraordinary things with little to very small following, be able to get the visibility that they need in order to be seen and heard and create their digital real estate, because that is what we're doing now, creating history in the making with all of these digital products and digital services. Now, what I am excited about is meeting more people and also taking their content and repurposing and reusing it and sharing it with the world so that they will have a legacy to leave, that their great-great-grandchildren will know what their grandmother, grandfather thought about certain topics and be able to inspire even when we're no longer on this earth. We'll still be helping and making an impact.
I love it. Tina, how does our audience follow you?
Well, I'm all over social media as Dr. Tina with a J, period, Ramsay, S-A-Y. And they can find me with CTR Media Network. We're all over the place. We're super excited to do what we do for, I like to say, the ones who would not get the visibility or the opportunity to have the exposure. We love you and we are here for you.
I love it. I love it, Tina. Thanks so much. All right, Steve, tell us about your show and all the good stuff you've got going on over there in Winnipeg.
Well, it's a pleasure being on this podcast episode here today by chance. I mean, I started my podcast journey, the Steve Setka Show, a couple years ago talking about, as you said, faith, and fatherhood on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple. And just by chance of, learning how to grow the show and increase the reach, I came across a variety of your platforms and became somewhat connected there, which is fascinating. So my career is revolved around transportation and transportation brokerage. So that I don't think that's the most interesting part, though. That's why I lead with the show. Because, first and foremost, I'm a God-fearing individual. I talk about faith as an overarching concept on the show all the time. And then I connect it with freight, which is my career as a transportation and full truckload broker with a large company called InExpress. And we run the Central Canadian franchise of that. And recently, I am a new father. We have my wife and I have a newborn that's 4 months old. It's very fun. It's very excited. He has not yet seen the sun because it's been so bloody cold up here in Canada all winter. I got away to Florida last week, but without them. So those three things are a big part of who I am as a person. And I'm just excited to be here because I feel like I'm farthest from the smartest person in the room. So I feel like I'm in the right room.
You are so in the right room. I will tell you, this is like really like a really random like fact about me is I am fascinated by transportation. Like it is like I go to Disney and I'm watching them move cars. Like I watch the train, like public, like just like it is this weird, like I'm just fascinated by it. I'm moving
It's
people.
probably the most interesting, boring industry, in my opinion, that's out there. So I never thought I'd be in it until 10 years ago when, my dad and I bought our business and got involved with this. And then it led to all these other things in media, just like, a couple of other participants are involved in. So thank you.
Yeah, well, congratulations on being a new daddy too.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's exciting. Kevin, Mr. New Author on the Block.
Absolutely. I'm still so floored that you have the book already. I am so excited. And of course, that's where so much of my passion is right now is we're throwing a big party here in West Michigan. We've got music and food, and we've got a whole gala going on to launch Lead Yourself First. So I'm so fired up and excited about that. And it really is the capstone of the work that I do, helping high achievers become inspired executives and to understand what a difference there is between the two. To get things done is one thing. To lead humans is a complete another thing altogether. So it's been the work of my heart and soul for the last 35 years. And I love it, creating that kind of leadership transformation. And really, it's helping people learn how to lead themselves first. So the title of the book is really everything about the work that I do. And it's learning how to upgrade your leadership. And that is the way people can connect with me, upgradeyourleadership.com. I've actually put together what I call a leadership jumpstart for listeners that they can download for free to be able to, it's really it follows and parallels a lot of the lessons in the book to help people learn to lead their life first and foremost on their own terms, and to show up with greater power and influence at work, in their relationships, and across their life. To that end, I'm on all social media platforms: LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, what have you. And I have a new podcast starting on book launch day. So the book is officially coming out March 27th. That's the big launch party. That's when it all goes official. And we also have our podcast starting that very same day, upgradeyourleadership.com.
Well, fantastic. Also, oh my gosh, there's so much good stuff happening here. And if any of them resonated with you, make sure that you go follow them, grab all their goodies, get in their circle, get in their world, and of course, subscribe to their podcast. They're doing good stuff every single day. And here's the thing, you guys are on these really successful journeys. You have all these exciting things that you're working on, things that are coming down the pike. But I want to kind of go back a little bit. And I imagine, I mean, you guys are perfect. Nothing ever struggled. Like it was like always like just roses and success all the way. But in case there was a part of your journey that maybe almost stopped you from showing up or really made you want to give up and quit and maybe go and, join the truck driving school, right? That's a joke they did in Top Gun. Right? We're just giving it all up and go back to truck driving school. But if there was something, a part of your journey that almost stopped you from moving forward and seeing the level of success that you have now, I want to know, yes, and how did you push through it? And Kevin, I'm going to start back with you, and we'll kind of go in a reverse of how I introduced you. Yeah, was there ever a time you wanted to give it all up?
Well, the heart and soul of the work I do is about being intentional. So it's about making decisions regardless of how you feel in the moment, but to align with your vision. So have I lost track of my vision along the way? Absolutely. Have I felt overwhelmed with anxiety, perhaps depressed? Absolutely. Have I felt fear? Absolutely. And the thing I have learned is those don't own me. I get to decide how I show up in any situation, regardless of how I feel, even if it's vastly out of my comfort zone. Step into it. That's where the growth happens. So for me, yeah, it's a continual process of stepping out of my comfort zone and being uncomfortable and feeling like I don't want to show up, but it doesn't matter what I feel like or what that haunting ghost in my head is telling me. You're not good enough. You don't measure up. Your book is no good. They're not going to like it. Oh, that's all just ghosts that are haunting me. And I get to create the truth and the narrative by which I live. And that for me is the heart and soul of all the work, right? As humans, how do we learn to get out of all the programming that we instilled in the first 3, 5, 7, 10 years of our life? How do we upgrade that? That's been the heart and soul of my work. And yeah, you better believe it. There's lots of viruses in that old programming. I face them all the time. And I just rest assured that the universe knows if I set a course and stay on it, man, amazing things happen. So for me, it's about being non-reactive.
Did that come from the work, or was there somebody like, where did it, like, was that something you got as a child? Like, when did that hit for you?
At one point, I found myself on the wrong path, doing what I should, being a good engineer, studying aeronautical engineering, but there's underneath it is this raw potential that wanted expression. So I was studying engineering growing up in Michigan. That's what anybody worth their salt does in my family. But I studied aeronautical engineering, and then I flew airplanes. And there was this wildness that wanted to rip through the constraint. And at one point, I found myself upside down, rocketing towards the ground in my Cessna, hitting the never exceed speed as the stall warning's going off, and there's so much gravitational pull, it's pulling the blood out of my head, and I'm starting to gray out. My vision is narrowing, and I'm pulling the wheel back, skating just above the trees, and I had this aha moment. Kevin, this is not the career path for you. And so I literally got on the ground, kissed the ground, sold my car, bought a motorcycle, and took off across the country as a teenager. And I ended up out in California. Guess what? My motorcycle broke down. I ran out of money. I didn't know anybody for 2,000 miles. And I was at this complete moment of being broken down, and at the end of the road. Total despair in that moment. And then as I sat there on the California coast in this little tent with I wasn't out of money. I had $3 literally to my name. And I had it spread out on my sleeping bag, looking out, thinking, what did I get myself into? And then there's a moment of like letting go that happened. I can't really explain it, but in this moment, this deeper insight kind of bubbled up from within, right? And I realized, no, it's all up to me. There's no more excuses, no more blaming anybody, no more anything except what I create in each moment. And oh my goodness, the stuff that happened from that moment on the California coast, where I ended up living in a house in the California hills over the ocean with a hot tub, best summer of my life, to decades later moving my family across the country with no real plan, just knowing that I know that this is the direction we're going, and amazing things just seem to unfold. We have this repository of wisdom if we let go of doing what we should.
Okay, I'm gonna stop you because you're moving on in a whole nother direction. But I love that. I absolutely love that. And this is why you need the book, right? He's got all these incredible stories to share. But I mean, we could all feel like
I get fired up.
The adrenaline, right? That Kevin brings to everything, but even in his story. This is awesome. This is awesome stuff, Kevin. Thank you for
So
sharing.
yes, really quick. Yes, many times, a lifetime full of stripping back the next layer and being vastly uncomfortable and doubting and questioning and then just moving forward.
Good stuff. How about you, Steve? You ever
But
question the path you're on?
yeah, of course. I mean, that's a tough act to follow, Kevin. That's incredible storytelling. I can get your book. I already signed up for your newsletter, but I got to hear your story more. Yeah, absolutely. There's many times that I call it throwing in the white towel, probably 8 to 10 times. I started doing this in my early to mid 20s with this company, and I started my podcast 2 or 3 years ago. And there was many times when both those experiences, I didn't want to keep going for sure. But I was an avid reader, which wasn't how I grew up, but it was what I learned as an adult. And one of the books that I read was called the E-Myth, Dr. Michael Gerber, which is about the three kind of buckets and components of starting a business. You're never going to have all of them. And that kind of just allowed me to realize that, hey, I don't have to be good at most things or, two of these three things. I just got to be really, really good at one. So I focused on, one thing, which was sales and selling and storytelling, like, Kevin would appreciate. And getting really good at one or two things and understanding that's, where my expertise would lie, and that would drive me through. Plus, I mean, full transparency, I looked at this entrepreneurial journey and how hard it was going to be off the bat. But then I thought that, well, I'm not going to get anything better than this going to work for someone else as an employee. No pushing down employees or nothing. They're very valuable. We have many in our company, but I thought, man, this is incredible lifestyle, flexibility, and the money can be really good. I'm going to struggle for a period of time. I got to work with my family for now, which is both the greatest thing I've ever done and the most difficult thing that I've ever done. Therefore, going through those challenges, I built that skin to be a little bit thicker. So I don't want to sound like a broken record here talking about my faith, but I'm reminded of the good Lord working in my life. Romans 12:2, don't be corrupted by the ways of the world, but be renewed by the transforming of your mind. And that's the verse I remember all the time, because the world will tell you a lot of BS. And be renewed by what the Spirit tells you, what faith tells you, what your gut is telling you, rather than all the junk that the world feeds you. So that's my strategy for overcoming the negativity.
Love that. I love that. This is good stuff. And as you guys are doing like little things, I'm like writing down little possibilities of what I'm going to title this episode. So you guys are giving me some good mic drops as well. So this is fantastic. How about you, Tina? Has it been just a straight path to success for you?
Of course not. No. I remember early on, I did not have the confidence to stand on my own 2 feet. I got the vision and I'm going with Steve because I'm a faith-driven woman as well. I got the vision. God gave it to me, but I was afraid to walk through it because I was like, I can't start a media network, but I can work for a media network. So therefore, I worked behind the scenes many years as an executive producer for many different podcast shows, and including my own. I was a podcaster and a TV host as well. And whatever I was working on and whatever I built, it did not sustain, because I wasn't heeding the call. And so what almost stopped me was just the pressure to shrink the vision, because I wanted other people to easily be able to understand the vision that God gave me, but it wasn't for them to understand. It was for them to watch and see what he told me to do. And so I started building the media, the education, and the community, because I'm a community girl too, Angel. So I love the idea and just the feeling of being within a community and helping people. And so early on, what I was doing didn't fit in that nice, pretty little, perfect little box that they put you in with entrepreneurship. They tell you, well, you only have to focus on one thing. And I knew I had 3. And so I had to push aside all my self-limiting doubt, self-sabotage, push through that, and just focus on the assignment and not receiving approval from other people. Instead of diluting the vision that I know I had to focus on clearly what God gave me with the pillars that I need to build, which was infrastructure, systems, and just understanding how to navigate this terrain. Because at the end of the day, you can have passion, but if you have it with no structure and systems, it's still going to fall. And so once I stopped trying to explain everything to everyone and started building what was needed, the impact eventually caught up with the vision. And now, years later, now people understand, and I don't have to explain it because they see it through the growth and the progression, the ups and downs of business. And I got it wrong the first time. I started a media company and lost everything. Did not do it right, did not do it the way God told me to do it. And so he tore it down. CTR Media Network is a direct reflection of me being obedient. And now we reach 3.6 billion households in 175 countries. And I couldn't have done that. That's my scripture, Isaiah 41:31, about when you're tired, you can mount up your wings like eagles. Because listen, it is tiring, but it is very rewarding. And I did not get it right the first time. I had to get out of my own way and I had to trust the process. And that was the hardest thing that almost stopped me. But once I let go of that, everything else followed. And not saying that everything is always straight and narrow, because it's not. Entrepreneurship, I describe it as being on a roller coaster ride. You're going to eventually get to your destination, but not without twists, turns, problems, shaking. You think you're going to die. All kind of things is going to happen on your entrepreneurship journey. But if you just stay the course, you will finish. And so I'm still on the course right now. And I'm happy about it. So I just have to stay aligned and stay focused.
I like to say, right, it'll all be fine in the end. And if it's not fine, it's not the end, right? Like, so stick with it and stay the course. And God's timing is his timing. I always say he's in the business of creating miracles. And so it's always like, it always feels like the 11th hour to us because we want to control it. But he's like, I got you. All right, Amy, how about you? I know you had to give up something, right? That was super successful and was really working for you in order to step into what you're doing now. How was that for you?
Yeah, so you're talking, I think what you're talking about is the spokesperson work I was doing as a dietitian, which I'm going to backtrack even further because I feel like I've lived multiple lives. So my first career, I was working in New York City working on magazines. So like health, prevention, parents. And it was, it's kind of like if you've seen the Devil Wears Prada, it's actually real. Like you're living this glamorous life, but like not I was making $14 an hour living in New York City. And that was really hard. There was, 1 year I was working like 70-hour weeks and I was depressed. And I was working on nutrition content and I started thinking, okay, I'm going to go back to school. I'm going to become a dietitian. I never really thought about, how am I going to get paid? So I became a dietitian, got a job working like 40 something an hour. And I was like, this is still not exactly the lifestyle that I want. I live in an expensive area. And so I started thinking through like, when I was working at magazines, I met all these brands and they'd bring in, a pediatrician to talk about their product or a dietitian to talk about this new food. And so I started just reaching out to those brands and started working as a spokesperson for their products. And I feel like everything kind of happens for a reason in life. Like I had gone to school for years to become a journalist, and then I kind of forged this new path. But then the really crazy thing is, in my second year as a dietitian working with brands, I earned over $200,000 from that and had other dietitians at that time. And now it's a lot of healthcare experts like doctors and nurse practitioners and whatnot, asking me, how do you work with brands? Like, how do you get them to hire you to, go on TV and talk about their products? And so that's really how I started Master the Media, was to serve that community and teach them. And so for a long time, I was running this project that, Master the Media was just like this little baby on the side. And then I was doing spokesperson work for brands. And at a certain point around the time of COVID, I was just like, you know what, this is what I want to be doing full time. I want to be teaching other people how to live this life of, you can make good money and not work yourself to the bone. And, like Steve, I'm also a new parent. I have an 8-month-old and I just want, to be home with her as much as I can and enjoy the work I'm doing. So that's really kind of where I am right now is helping other, a lot of time burnt out healthcare professionals and experts in their fields, kind of take a step back and say, how can I be fulfilled as a human and help others and spread my messages to millions of people, but also have time for my family and myself?
Well, I'll tell you, I'm on the other end of the bookend with you two. You guys have brand new babies. My husband and I are empty nesters, and we're in that retiring phase. So we are trying to create, right, that lifestyle that again doesn't have us just hustling all the time and working to the bone, but really something that brings us joy every day. And when you tap into that, it is oh so powerful. But like Tina said, like we try a lot of things and we fail at a lot of things, but we keep going until we get here and land in our spots. So you guys are young, right? And you've got young kids. You're gonna set them up for so much success. And so I'm just super, super tickled pink for both of you.
And feeling just like getting to be having that intentionality as a parent and just kind of modeling, what you can have that balance and you can be an entrepreneur, but still have time for your loved ones.
Yes, 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 yes. All right, Miss Connie, you've been faithfully building up this movement for years, and it's seen a lot of, I'm sure, different versions. But was there ever a time you wanted to throw in the towel?
Oh God, yes. First of all, the stories. I love everybody's stories, and they all have a similarity to them, right? I'm going to go back to when I started. I was 42 years old when I started Pilates. It was because of my husband, and he said to me, "This sounds like something you would be great at." I had a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old and a 2-year-old, and I knew I wanted a little bit more. And so I found Pilates. I was the oldest one in the class, but I was like the one raising my hand. I was like an incredible student. I worked with all the people that nobody wanted to work with, all the older clients and the clients that couldn't move very well. And it really led me to what I do now. So it was an incredible opportunity. I bought my business in 2007 and the world shut down in 2008.
That's right. That's right. It was the big crash.
The crash. And I was like, okay, so I put stuff on credit cards and kept things going and continued on. And then what happened in 2020? There was a pandemic and the world shut down. And so I had to let go of all my teachers. And luckily I had started with the fabulous Melanie McSally, who is my webmaster behind me, and does all my back end. And we had started doing a project within 10 days of the world shutting down. I had 4 classes a week online. I had everyone on Zoom. Now you got to understand, my clients are 70, 80, and 90. And to get them all on Zoom, we killed it. We knocked it out of the park. That's why I have so many videos. And we just realized that the world is your gym. You don't need to go to a gym. I have a Pilates studio, but it doesn't matter, because when you're 50, you want to think about aging when you're 60 and 70. When you're 60, you want to think about your 70s and 80s. And when you're in your 80s, you want to think about, hopefully I'll make it past this decade. And so that means you have to move your body every day. And it means stand up, sit down. It's really simple things. And so it has kept me going, these like little stops along the way, but resilience, tenacity, making people realize it's easier than you're making it too hard. It does not have to be hard. It can be fun. It can be easy. I use things in and out of my car, steps, stairs, blankets, water bottles, doesn't matter. That moving.
She's hysterical, you guys. She is hysterical. Like the stuff she'll like be messing with a watermelon in the pool and she's teaching you how to get in and out of your car without tweaking your back. Like, yeah, you're just super fun. So I didn't mean to interrupt you, but yeah, she's funny. She's like, I happen to have a watermelon. Let's see what we can do with this.
Yeah, and you're just such a big, proponent, Angel. Thank you so much. I have to just say, Angel, really, this book, Listen, Watch What You Say, Your Body Is Listening, is really because of Angel's guidance and all the things that we went through and stuff like that. So, you're amazing. And everybody here is pretty damn amazing.
We are pretty darn good. We're big dill pickles, right? And a bag of chips, right? All of that. Okay, so we're just gonna do kind of a last question to kind of wrap it up. But really, what was the accelerator? Like, what created your success, or what was the one lever that created the momentum that you're looking at now. Why did that work? And then make sure that you give how people can follow you when you wrap it up. But really, what was the thing that accelerated your success or created the momentum? And Amy, I'm going to start with you.
Yeah. So really for me, it's been transparency and just sharing those things that feel hard to share that other people actually really need to hear. And for me specifically, that started with, I think it was like 2, 3, 4 years ago. I was like, I know the thing that would just propel my business, but like also just help me help more people would be sharing my income. And it was really uncomfortable. And I remember I just like ripped off the Band-Aid one day and I was like, okay, this is how much I made this month. And then I started doing monthly income reports. And then I told my husband after the fact and he was like, well, yeah, you already did it. So it is what it is. But that kind of got me comfortable with, okay, now I'm just going to just be an open book where, here are my contacts, here's my network, here's everything I know. And it's like, you can't really help people if you're holding back information. So that's really what I aim to do is, in my program materials, we have Master the Media programs, we have a free community on Facebook, and we have a podcast. And I'm always just trying to share as much as I can without making it feel like overly overwhelming. So.
Well, I love it. Well, and here's the thing that I have found, and Tina, maybe you might feel the same way, is you cannot overshare. Because all the times that we think we're posting and we think everybody is going to see every little piece of content we're putting out, and it's just not true, right? They don't see half of it. They don't see the majority of it. They're going to miss stuff. And so I think we often feel like, oh, I'm bugging and I'm oversharing. I just don't think you can get there.
Yeah. And it's like if you post one thing that helps somebody, and you probably are never going to even know that you help somebody, but just putting it out there, I think is what we can help each other do.
Yeah, I love the transparency of even putting out your income, because it's like, ooh, will they think, well, am I bragging because it's too much, and they'll think this or it's not enough, and that, just all the thoughts. But it's masterthemedia.co/pricing-guide.
Yep.
Or the branding guide. Anything else you wanna share or talk about?
Yeah. We also have free masterclasses on just how to get started with working with brands and even what that even means and how much money you can make. So that's masterthemedia.co/masterclass.
Okay, /masterclass. There's all good stuff here. So obviously today, you guys, my audience, you are getting just a snippet of all the fabulousness that all of these guests do and how you can connect with them. And that's really, it's just a door to open that up to get to know them, follow their podcasts, read their books, get in their communities. And so, this isn't obviously a everything and all because it's a quick little panel, but make sure you follow them and get plugged in. And, oh, actually, we haven't. We're coming. I'm like, we didn't do yours, Conni, but we still have to come back around for Conni. Well, we'll do Conni now because I said it. Right? So, Conni, what was the lever that most accelerated your success or created the momentum? Why did it work? And how do we all plug into you?
Consistency. Just showing up every day, showing up online, showing up for my clients, just getting them to think about not being in the studio. They're with me 2 or 3 times a week. What are they doing every day that's going to move the lever on their life, their body, feeling good in their body, changing their attitude, leaning into joy, and just living with a much fuller life? So it was really consistency and stuff like that. Absolutely Grounded is my YouTube station. So join me there. And on Instagram and Facebook, I'm Conni Ponturo. On Facebook, I'm Connie Brunner Ponturo. And just following me. I put videos every day across all platforms.
She does. She is consistent. Like this is her jam for sure. And what a model, right? She's modeling what she talks about. Conni, so good to see you again and have you back here today. All right, Kevin, how about you? What's been the lever that accelerated your success or created the momentum?
Yeah, great question. I've been driving I drive too many directions at once, I think, between publishing and podcasting and creating programs and keynote speaking and finding new clients, and all of this left me moving too many directions at once. And if you're like me, man, business ownership can be kind of a lonely game. It's just you doing everything. And the thing that helped me pull it all together, gain clarity, and really jumpstart all of it was this woman I know named Angel, who has been amazing in helping me just get my focus, pull it all together, get my jam back, and I can see clearly where I'm going. So, Angel, you don't even know how grateful I am to find you again, and thank you. I just want to say thank you for all the work you've done in helping me get my mojo.
Oh my gosh, Kevin, it's been so much fun to work with Kevin. And so we were working together and I left a company and he's like, "Where did you go?" And he had to go and do some cognitive, like underground research to find me and get back in my world. So I love that, Kevin. Tell our audience where. I know we've got the book, we've got all sorts of programs. What's the best way for them to play with you?
Yeah, well, I love just connecting with people. Kevin at maysleadership.com. So you can go to Mays, M-A-Y-S, maysleadership.com is my web address. Mays Leadership is the handle for most of my social media. But again, going to upgradeyourleadership.com will plug you into it as well.
Yeah, I definitely want to upgrade your leadership. And I love the whole concept, the High Achiever's Guide to Upgrade Your Leadership. He's got the brand new book coming out. Lots of good stuff. So yeah, thanks for being here today, Kevin.
Thank you.
All right, Steve, how about you? What was the lever that created the momentum for you?
Honestly, it's things like this. It was when I started in my mid-20s, and still, I don't do as much of it now, but it was networking. And it was doing podcast platforms like that. Not even podcasts back then. It was going to events and showing up and being super uncomfortable and getting outside of that zone of comfort and just, being a salesperson and, accepting rejection and all those different types of things. So I was pretty heavily involved into that. I'm not as much anymore, but chambers of commerce and associations and networks that, I could get involved with for sure. And I made a lot of mistakes and learned a lot and felt like I was the dumbest person in the room in a lot of places, which has, served me very well. So that was number one. And the second thing that I think is most importantly, I think Tina and many of you could relate to this. I started sharing something that was very vulnerable in my life, which was faith. I started talking on LinkedIn about God. I started talking about my connection to the Spirit. It's not popular, I don't think, in the business world. And it's definitely not popular in Canada to talk about those things. I don't see a lot of people doing it, but I've connected with a lot of people, via faith. And that's why I built my brand around that, because that's, my life, how it's built, which is kind of cool. So sharing my faith and networking, I'm reminded of networking is only one letter away from not working. And it's also very close to your net worth, which can be built around your network. So there's a couple things that matter quite a bit to me. So that's what the Steve Setka Show is all about. Our brand in Express Winnipeg and the global transportation network that I'm plugged in with. And YouTube, Spotify, and Apple is where the Steve Setka Show can be consumed. And I'm also very active on LinkedIn, which I've already added you guys all on that platform.
Awesome. I love it. They're already taking action, right? These are the action takers. And that's what I love. We just kicked off. We just relaunched this podcast. I think this is only like our 6th or 7th episode. And I put it out there, and to see like who actually takes action and shows up. And so if they are one of the, in these first dozen of episodes, like these are definitely the action takers, and you can see it. You should see the chat going on too. They are like plugging in with each other and they're taking care of business. So Steve, it's been an incredible honor to meet you. I want to continue this conversation and keep sharing your faith. God has me on a mission to create platforms for his kingdom, to have a voice, right, to share. And I feel like I am definitely on a path that God has put me on. And sometimes it's easy to drift away, right? It's easy to drift away, but it's very obvious when you get back on, and you're doing good things. And so it's Steve Setka is the show. We're followed on all the platforms. Was there a website or a URL, or is it just go look up the Steve Setka Show?
SteveSetkaShow.com and look it up on the platform for sure. I don't want to get too much in the business stuff. InExpressWinnipeg.com is our website to engage with the transportation side if you're interested in getting into the boring world of logistics.
It's exciting, though. I know. Yeah, it's probably the most boring, exciting job, but I don't know why. I just have a fascination with it for sure. It's weird. All right, Tina, wrap us up. Tell us, what was the lever that created the most momentum for you, and why did that work?
the thing that created the most momentum for me was podcasting. Like I said, it was a very inexpensive way when you are just starting out. Like Kevin saying, Dr. Kevin said, you're doing all the things yourself. And like Amy said, it gave me a way to be transparent and afraid at the same time. And like Steve said, it actually helped me be able to get closer to God, because you got to rely on God when you speaking to millions of people and you don't know who's going to come in or what's going to happen. You're just leaning on him. And like Conni said, being consistent with doing the podcast, because it wasn't easy, but it was a thing that actually helped catapult me and got more eyeballs on what it was that I was doing. Like today, I would have never met you, Angel, had it not been for podcasting. My friend introduced me to you and said, she do podcasting. She got a network. She do podcasts. She got a podcast directory. You need to meet. It was all because of podcasting. And so that's one of the things that actually opened up speaking opportunities, branding deals, sponsorships, grants, all the things, because media is powerful. So I tell all business owners, if you have a business, whether for-profit or nonprofit, you need to have a podcast to go along with it. It is a great way to network. It's a great way to build your brand, and it builds your credibility and influence, and you become the thought leader. And it helps you to create a stage like Amy doing for us to come on and speak on your stage. Okay, so you create an opportunity. So that is what helped me, and it still does me very well to this day, because I'm still hosting to this very day. And I just want people to, what they get from everybody, because I'm just sitting back, just seeing how all of us have the same. It's like we're a beautiful quilt, and we're just threading everything, because we all have something that is cohesive that leads us all together. And so I'm like, I got to really look into this panel, because we all doing some amazing things, and how can we do great things together? But at the end of the day, I want people to walk into their purpose, stop being afraid, stop waiting to get permission. And if you don't know everything, let me give you a little hint. None of us knows everything. None of us, okay? We're just really good at making everyone think we know everything, but it's always something that you're not going to know. And once you get comfortable with that, and once you embrace that, then there's no limits to what you can do. I know I'm not the smartest person in the room. I know I don't know everything about media, but I also know that I can learn. I also know that I want to be around people who know more than me. I don't want to be the smartest one in the room. So tell your story, control your story. It's very important now, more so than ever. And then I'm going to end this way. If you don't take anything from anything that I have said earlier, I want you to understand what we're living in. We're living in the media digital era. And we're living in a time that's very unique, that you cannot sit on the sidelines of it and think it's going to be okay if you don't do something, meaning you have to be on social media, you have to be on podcast shows, you have to do the media side if you are want to make an impact. Because if you don't, we're in the age of AI. You do not want to leave it to AI to create your narrative, your story about you. Google yourself and see what it says about you. If you don't like what it says, create the media to make sure that they know exactly who you are, what you're doing, and what impact you're going to make. Because if you don't create the narrative, AI or somebody else will. And I'm not doing it. I'm controlling my story, okay, and what I'm doing. So this is the time. We can't sit on the sidelines anymore.
No more, right? Visibility is your responsibility. And yeah, it's up to you to control that narrative and the story about your brand. Tina, what was is it CTR Media Network?
Yes, ctrmedianetwork.com. Okay. And like Amy, I do have a free podcast course that people can get for absolutely free. I make sure I always have free things, inexpensive things for people to, I like to say, get in where they fit in, because I don't want you to have the excuse saying, oh, I can't start a podcast because I can't afford it. When can't afford free $99? You can afford it. You can afford it. So go ahead and start your podcast and make your digital imprint. And you can find me at ctrmedianetwork.com. And we're all over social media platforms. I'm a podcaster, TV host too, just like everybody else. So make sure you follow all of us. And when you go to ctrmedianetwork.com, you're not just going to see me. You're going to see a whole lot of other independent content creators that are doing what they're supposed to do on this earth. So I love community, just like Angel. I just love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. So when you see me, you see other people.
There's a whole bunch of people behind all of us. It takes a village, and every one of us knows that there's a village behind all of us. So I want to say thank you to all of our panelists today. I want to make sure that I've got your call to action. We've got Absolutely Grounded for Conni. We've got masterthemedia.co/pricing-guide or /masterclass for Amy. We've got CTR Media Network for Tina. The Steve Setka Show for Steve, and upgradeyourleadership.com or mazeleadership.com for Kevin. If you are looking to create more visibility before breakfast, I give you the 3 pillars of things that you can do to borrow other people's audiences and make sure your voice is out there. And you can grab that at visibilitybeforebreakfast.com. My name is Angel Tuccy. Until next time, remember, your story isn't just powerful, it is meant to make an impact. Cheers, y'all.